Samarkand, Pearl of Central Asia. Samarkand is a city that was the capital of the Sogdian and Timurid Empire, where light comes from earth. Samarkand is the city that holds the secrets of ancient history. My first video about Samarkand was shot on a phone, but despite this, Samarkand has more views on my YouTube channel. I filmed this content with a professional camera, where I filmed very ancient place of Samarkand that you should see if you want to visit the city of Samarkand by yourself. In this video, I will share with you the hotel where I lived for 2 days, which had a central location, and I will also share with you the restaurants where you can eat very tasty local food but not expensive. Our today's sightseeing is gonna start from the highest point of Samarkand, where in 15th century, favorite grandson of Timur, Ulugh Beg, built an observatory. Unfortunately, it was not possible to save the whole building of the observatory. Nowadays, that instrument which was used by Ulugh Beg in order to describe 1026 stars, and the name of the instrument was sextant. And in the territory of current observatory there is also the museum where it's possible to see the rare artifacts about the astronomy of the 15th century in Samarkand. Now we are going to start the sightseeing. When you walk to the upstairs, I highly recommend you to start the sightseeing from the left side where there is a museum, also where it's possible to see the rare artifacts about the astronomy, about the observatory of Ulugh Beg, which was exist here in the 15th century. And this is the entrance for that place where the astronomical instrument sextant is located. Entrance to the attractions of the city Samarkand is paid. You can pay in local currency or with your Visa or Master credit card. Unfortunately, the observatory building has not been preserved in its original form, according to the conclusion of the scientists involved into the research. The structure was erected in the shape of cylinder, the height of which was about 30 meters. The diameter of the structure was about 46 meters. The observatory was destroyed after the death of Ulugh Beg in 1449. At the beginning of the 20th century, Russian archaeologist Igor Vatkin managed to find exact location of the observatory, and archaeologists began excavation. Archaeologists could excavate only small piece of instrument called the sextant, which is located on the territory of current museum. The museum itself was built in 1960s of 20th centuries. In this museum, you can see very valuable astronomical instruments that were used by Ulugh Beg himself just to study stars. And you can also see the models of observatory, the models of that observatory, which was exist here 6 centuries ago. As well as you can see the remains of the astronomical instrument sextant, which is located not so far from the museum. Archaeologists were able to find a small piece of the instrument that had a line in the ground for more than 6 centuries. In Europe, Ulugh Beg is known as astronomer, but he is also the ruler of Timur's empire, and Ulugh Beg is one of the Timur's favorite grandson also. Near the entrance of observatory, there is a monument of Ulugh Beg, which was erected after the independence. I got to this place by taxi, which can be ordered using Yandex. Yandex is the current Uber taxi. After the observatory, I went on foot to the mausoleum of Saint Daniel, or in local language we call him Hoja Daniar, which is located not so far from observatory of Ulugh Beg. Next place which I am going to show you in Samarkand is located about 1 kilometer far from observatory of Ulugh Beg. I'm gonna show you the mausoleum of Saint Daniel, or in local language we call him Hoja Daniar. The features of this mausoleum is Saint Daniel is very holy for the representative of religion Islam, Judaism and Christianity. And a mausoleum is located on the ruins of ancient Afrasiyab, the city which was destroyed in the 13th century by Genghis Khan army. Mausoleum of Saint Daniel appeared in Samarkand in 15th century. According to the legends, Amir Timur he brought the remains of the body of Saint Daniel from the current territory of Iraq. When he conquered Iraq, Amir Timur brought the first book of Quran, which we keep in Tashkent in Registan Square, and the remains of the body of Saint Daniel was buried here close to the river Siab. And if I turn camera like this, you can see the ruins. These were the city walls of Samarkand, and this ruins has 2750 historical years.
Saint Daniel lived in Mesopotamia, which is current Iraq. At the beginning of the 15th century, Amir Timur was on military campaigns in the Middle East, from where he brought the ashes of the Saint Daniel, and Amir Timur buried the ashes of the Saint Daniel in the ruins of ancient Afrasiyab. According to the legend, when Amir Timur buried the ashes of the Saint Daniel, the grave of the Saint Daniel started to grow, and it's still growing. The length of the grave is 80 meters. When Amir Timur buried the ashes of the Saint Daniel in the territory of the current mausoleum, a water source appeared, where still pilgrims are drinking pure water, especially in the hot days. This water has very special taste.
In Soviet Union, on the ruins of ancient Afrasiyab, there were several excavations which was done by Soviet archaeologists, where they could excavate many artifacts. And in Soviet time, on the ruins of the palace which were exist in the ancient Afrasiyab, Soviet government built wonderful museum. The name of the museum is Afrasiyab. My next target is to show you this museum, because in February, when I filmed this content to my mobile phone, museum was closed. Now it's open.
The ruins of ancient Afrasiyab are considered the most ancient part of the city of Samarkand. These ruins are more than 2750 historical years. The city was destroyed in 13th century AD by Genghis Khan army, and city was not rebuilt. This museum was built in 70s of the 20th century. This museum is considered one of the largest archaeological museum in the world, which contains many artifacts that were excavated on the territory of ancient Afrasiyab. Let's see what this museum stores from inside.
Afrasiyab History Museum has very rare artifacts, which keeps the rare artifacts which were excavated in the territory of current Samarkand, on the ruins of Samarkand. That ruins has 2750 historical years. And also the features of this museum is the wall frescoes which belongs to the 8th century AD, which were excavated on the ruins of palace which were exist here in Samarkand. Unfortunately, the city of Afrasiyab was destroyed by Mongolian warriors at the beginning of the 13th century, and Amir Timur, or Tamerlan, when he chose the Samarkand as a capital city of his empire, he decided to build the new city rather than reconstruct the old one.
Ancient Afrasiyab, or ancient Samarkand, was the capital of the Sogdian Empire. Samarkand was one of the important trading cities at the intersection of Great Silk Road, which passed through the territory of Central Asia. These frescoes on the walls were excavated in the territory of ancient Afrasiyab, and these frescoes dates back to the 7th century AD. Samarkand was the most important city in Central Asia at the crossroads of the Great Silk Road, where merchants from all over the world came in caravans to carry out trade with the rulers of this city. On the frescoes, you can see the pictures of the Sogdian rulers, where they received the foreign ambassadors, the hunting process, and the wedding process also. On the territory of the museum, there is a small room where you can watch a documentary about the frescoes of ancient Afrasiyab. This film can be watched in several languages, including English. When you finish with museum, you can walk through the ruins of ancient Afrasiyab. The total territory of ancient Afrasiyab is more than 220 hectares. On the territory of ancient Afrasiyab, there are several Jewish cemetery and the Muslim cemetery also. The next place where I was going to is considered the first Muslim cemetery and the first Muslim necropolis in the territory of current Samarkand, where Muslims from all over the Islamic world come for pilgrimage.
Museum of Afrasiyab was attractive, interesting, and now let's discover another place. In Samarkand there is a necropolis. The name of the necropolis is Shakhi Zinda, which means living king. The necropolis Shakhi Zinda is the first Muslim cemetery where nephew of Prophet Muhammad, Hassan ibn Abbas, was buried. When you come from Afrasiyab Museum to the gates of the Shakhi Zinda necropolis, there is a good chance go to the WC room, and there is also good chance to have a cup of coffee. I think now I'm going to have glass of iced cappuccino, that because weather is hot, and there is a very good gift shop, and there is a very good coffee shop. This gift shop is full with foreigners, and this is not only gift shop, this is the good place for having cup of americano or cappuccino. Am I right, sir?
Ciao.
Are you enjoying with your coffee?
Ottimo, buonissimo.
Buonissimo, bellissimo. De donde eres? Italy. Where are you from? Okay. Okay, I have a nice cup of ice cappuccino. That's because temperature is now plus 35. I think this cappuccino is gonna reinvigorate me, and let's explore new place in Samarkand which is unknown for you. Cheers!
In Samarkand, there is a beautiful necropolis which is located between two cemeteries. When you drive from Ulugh Beg Observatory towards the C.A.T market, you will see beautiful domes that catch your eyes. This place is called Shakhi Zinda, where in 8th century AD, the cousin of Prophet Muhammad was buried. The necropolis of Shakhi Zinda is a very mythical place in the city of Samarkand, since those people who were buried here had a very great power during their lifetime.
When local pilgrims of Uzbekistan, when they visit this place, they have a superstition which they try to keep. These steps leads to the upstairs, and when you walk to the upstairs, you have to count. When you walk to the upstairs and when you walk downstairs, amount is different. 35 to 36 or 36 for 34. If you have same amount, it means that you are innocent, you are not guilty. This is the strongly superstition which our citizens believe in.
Necropolis Shakhi Zinda is considered the first Muslim cemetery that appeared on the territory of ancient Samarkand in 8th century AD, where cousin of Prophet Muhammad, whose name was Hassan ibn Abbas, was buried.
In the territory of the Shakhi Zinda necropolis, there are many mausoleums. Some of them are unknown, but my main target is to reach the mausoleum of Hassan ibn Abbas, the first Muslim grave which appeared in the territory of current Samarkand. And Shakhi Zinda necropolis was the first Muslim cemetery in ancient Afrasiyab.
If you translate Shakhi Zinda from Persian language into the English, it means that living king. Legends say that Hassan ibn Abbas was not killed. He hid in a well where he stayed waiting for the judgment day. There are 11 mausoleums on the territory of this complex. The most important mausoleum is the mausoleum of Husayn ibn Abbas. This complex was heavily damaged during the Mongolian invasion in 13th century. In 14th and 15th century, when Samarkand was the capital of the Timurids Empire, this complex was rebuilt by Amir Timur and by his beloved grandson Ulugh Beg. Timur brought the construction masters and architects from his military campaign, and these masters built the capital of the Timurid Empire, and Timur paid to these masters a large sum of money. On the walls of these mausoleums, you can see the finest work of masters of Maiolica, terracotta, ceramics, which makes this complex very unique. Each mausoleum looks unique. Craftsmen from India, from Iran, from Caucasus and Central Asia worked and built this complex in 15th century, since Timur's relatives and his close friends, wives were buried in this complex. In 1978, the very famous American boxer, whose name was Muhammad Ali, visited this place. Pilgrims begin their pilgrimage from the mausoleum of Husayn ibn Abbas, where I went.
Now I am inside of the mausoleum of Husayn ibn Abbas. There is a long corridor which leads to the grave room where the relative, the nephew of Prophet Muhammad, Husayn ibn Abbas, was buried in Samarkand in 8th century AD.
Inside the mausoleum of Husayn ibn Abbas, there is a long corridor that leads to Abbas' grave, and also in this mausoleum there is a mosque that was built by Ulugh Beg. Visitors to this place must adhere the dress code. Women must cover their hair with headscarf. I highly recommend you visit each mausoleum from inside. Each mausoleum is decorated differently from inside. On the territory of this complex there are several very modest mausoleums which was built from baked bricks. These mausoleums were on the territory of this complex before Timurid Empire. Some of them are unnamed. In the 1990s, this complex was a little bit reconstructed. After I finished with Shakhi Zinda Necropolis, I went toward the C.A.T. Bazaar. My goal was to see Bibi-Khanym Mosque, which dates back to the 15th century, and C.A.T. Bazaar also. On the way, I saw the first Muslim mosque. The name is Hazrat Khizr, which was built on the territory of current Samarkand. The mausoleum of the first president of Republic Uzbekistan, Islam Karimov, is located near the mosque of the Hazrat Khizr. The mosque of the Amir Timur's beloved wife Bibi-Khanym was the largest mosque in Samarkand in 15th century. In 15th century, Spanish ambassador, whose name was Ruy González de Clavijo, visited the city Samarkand, where he mentioned about this mosque on his book.
Weather is getting very hot. Now it's July. In July we have 40 days of hot day. In local language we call it chilla. Usually in chilla, when the weather is very hot, you don't want to eat anything. I highly recommend you, if you travel in July, August to Uzbekistan, just to buy one watermelon or melon and take one hot bread and eat it for the lunch. Just believe me, you will not regret. Now I'm approaching to the C.A.T. market and the Bibi-Khanym Mosque, which is located very close to each other. And I think it's gonna be all for today, and tomorrow I will continue filming the video. Tonight I'm going to go to the night Registan just to show you 3D show which usually they have in the summer. But let's first of all have a look local market, which the name is C.A.T. The second one is the mosque of the favorite wife of Timur, Bibi-Khanym.
The Bibi-Khanym Mosque is considered the largest old mosque in the city of Samarkand, which was built by order of Emir Timur for his beloved wife in 15th century. Bibi-Khanym means beloved wife. This mosque was built during 6 years. The construction of this mosque began after Timur's military campaign in India in 1398, which ended in victory. After this campaign, Timur decided to build a mosque for his beloved wife. Unfortunately, it was not possible to preserve this mosque entirely. When you finish with the mosque, I highly recommend you to visit the Bazaar, where you can buy the gift for your family members and for your close friends. In Uzbekistan, it's still disputable which region of Uzbekistan prepares the best plov. Residents of Samarkand, they strongly believe that they have the best plov in Uzbekistan. If you want to try the real Samarkand plov, I highly recommend you to try the plov in this place called Afrasiyab, where mostly local residents of city go for the lunch. This place is not touristy place, but plov in this place is very tasty. The portion of plov are very large. Plov is considered a heavy food, so we usually eat it for the lunch. This place is also only open for the lunch, but during the months of Ramadan, this place is open for the dinner also. If you are a Muslim and if you are looking for the halal food, this place is exactly for you. And if somebody also wants to taste the real Samarkand plov, can always visit and have a good lunch here. And the staff is always happy to see you, their guests and their visitors of Samarkand. Osh, translated from the local language, means plov. Super osh, it means super plov. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhyiddin and I'm a manager of this cafe Afrodita Super Osh, where the best plov of Uzbekistan and the city of Samarkand is prepared. We will be glad to see you in our cafe, which has been operating for more than 15 years.
I have finished with Bibi-Khanym Mosque and C.A.T market, and now I'm walking in the old Tashkent street, which connects the Registan Square with C.A.T market and with Bibi-Khanym Mosque. This is the pedestrian street. The distance between the Registan Square and Afrasiyab Market and Bibi-Khanym Mosque is about 500 meters. And on the way between Bibi-Khanym Mosque and Registan Square, there are many local cafes, restaurants. In September, in February, when you have the long day of sightseeing, you may sit and have a coffee break, or there is a restaurant Zargaron, which is gonna be on the right side when you walk from Bibi-Khanym Mosque to the Registan Square, which is also a very good place. And there is this cafe which is located close to the Bibi-Khanym, where I highly recommend you to have a lunch or dinner, where you can taste very tasty traditional Uzbek foods. Weather is getting very hot, and Uzbeks has good proverb: it is better to taste one time rather than to hear 1,000 times. I took one watermelon and I want to have it for the lunch with staff of the hotel where I'm going to stay. The name of the hotel is Mevlana. Staff is very kind. Thank you for them for organizing me this hotel, and this hotel has very good location. Have a nice meal. Bon appetit, guys.
The Mevlana Hotel is located in Old Town and has very central location. This hotel is located on a street where many years ago Sufis lived. This hotel is located very close to the Afrasiyab Market and Registan Square, where you can walk in your free time. The rooms are built in Oriental style, and as a resident of Uzbekistan and as an experienced guide, I can say that when you travel in Uzbekistan, you must choose a hotel according to the several criteria. The first criteria is the hotel should not have problems with supply of cold and hot water. Secondly, the rooms must have air conditioners that works continuously, because the tourist season starts in April when weather becomes warm. When you travel in Uzbekistan, you mostly spend your time in outdoors. You come to hotel only to relax, and hotel should have very good beds where you should recover yourself after very fascinating day. And this hotels has all of the conditions which I mentioned above. This hotel also has a beautiful terrace overlooking the domes of Bibi-Khanym Mosque. If you like to watch the sunrise and sunset, this terrace is the great place for you. After a long day of the sightseeing, when you are a little bit tired, you can open the bottle of wine or beer and just enjoy looking at the city of Samarkand on this terrace. You will not regret. Because of the hot weather, I didn't want to have a dinner on that day. That watermelon I bought for the lunch was big and we couldn't finish it. And we also had a watermelon for the dinner also. In the evening, I decided to go to the Registan Square, which is considered the symbol of the city Samarkand. You can see the light show and laser show during the tourist season. In spring and summer, this show starts around 9 o'clock p.m. in the evening, and in autumn and winter, close to the 8 o'clock p.m. in the evening. The next day, my sightseeing began from the Registan Square. On the Registan Square, there is a special area for the photos and videos. If you want to watch this light and laser show from good angle, you need to arrive at least half an hour earlier. You will have to stand and watch it, that because there is no any seats in this square. Bring the water with yourself if it's summer. In Uzbekistan, it's forbidden to drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes in public place like a Registan Square. There is a fine for this. Almost all Central Asian countries such as Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan are considered one of the safest countries in the world. It's not for me to teach you, dear guests, that you must respect the local community. Then the local community will respect you. Then everything will be fine with you.
Our today's sightseeing, I'm going to start from the symbol of Samarkand, from Registan Square, which consists of 3 big madrasas. Madrasa Ulugh Beg, which was built in 15th century, Madrasa Tillakari, and Madrasa Sherdar, which was built in 17th century. Unfortunately, nowadays, none of these madrasas are active, but this is the symbol of Samarkand. Of course, when you try to find some information about the Samarkand, when you text the word Samarkand in Google, the first pictures which is going to come to your screen is the Registan Square.
Registan Square is located in the heart of the old town. Registan, translated from Persian, means sandy area. Registan Square is the symbol and visit card of the city Samarkand. Registan consists of the three huge madrasas that were built in 15th and in 17th centuries. Madrasas on the Registan Square have the minaret with 33 meters high. Each madrasa has two gates, and along the entrance gate you can see the large lattice from where the courtyard of these madrasas are visible. This was done for the air and wind circulation, since it is very windy on the Registan Square. The first madrasa that was built on the Registan Square is Ulugh Beg Madrasa, which dates back to the 15th century. I always start my sightseeing from Ulugh Beg Madrasa, which is more than 600 years old. Ulugh Beg Madrasa was built during 3 years between 1417 and 1420. In 2020, the residents of Samarkand celebrated 600 anniversaries of the Madrasa of Ulugh Beg. Inside of each madrasa, there were the classrooms where students studied. In the summer, all lectures were held in the courtyard of the madrasa. Inside of each madrasa, there were the Friday mosque also, as students of these madrasas had to pray 5 times a day. In Ulugh Beg Madrasa, there is a Friday mosque, which today is considered as a museum that is very rich with artifacts which relates with astronomy. From an early age, Ulugh Beg was interested in the stars. Ulugh Beg was one of the Amir Timur's favorite grandsons. Ulugh Beg turned the capital of his grandfather's empire into the capital of knowledge. The pursuit of the knowledge is the duty of each Muslim. This was his motto. Ulugh Beg left behind a very rich heritage that attracts many tourists from all over the world. In 1977, American astronauts who visited the Soviet Union asked from the Soviet leadership to visit the city of Samarkand and establish an observatory and Ulugh Beg madrasas. The Americans filmed a documentary movie. The name of the movie is Ulugh Beg, the man that unlocked the universe, which I highly recommend you to watch on YouTube in English language. On the second floor of this madrasa, there is a coffee shop where you can relax and drink a coffee while looking at the beautiful view of the courtyard of this madrasa. The second madrasa, which is located in the middle of this complex, called Tillakori, in translation from Persian means gilded madrasa. This madrasa was built in 17th century between 1646 and 1660s. The constructions of this madrasa continued for the 16 years. In 17th century, there was no large Friday mosque in Samarkand. The Bibi-Khanym mosque fell into the disappear. The governor of the Samarkand decided to build a madrasa and mosque in one building in this area. Tillakori Madrasa has one floor where the students' rooms are located. The courtyard of this madrasa is considered the largest among these 3 madrasas, which is located in the Registan Square. Inside of the Tillakori Madrasa, there is a huge Friday mosque, which was used by citizens of Samarkand. The ceiling of that Friday mosque was gilded with real gold. On the walls of that Friday mosque, you can see the inscription, which was written in Arabic and in Farsi. In the 90s of the 20th century, after the collapse of USSR, when Uzbekistan was independent, this complex was restored. It was possible to preserve the original samples of inscription that dates back to the 17th century. Currently, there is a large museum inside of this mosque. In this museum, you can see the history of the architectural decorative art of the city of Samarkand and the Registan Square. And also, you can see the copy of the photos of old Samarkand, which was taken by Russian photographers in the middle of the 19th century. In these photos, you can see the monuments of old Samarkand such as Shakhi Zinda Necropolis, Hazrat Khizr Mosque, Bibi-Khanym Mosque, C.A.T. Bazaar, Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum, and of course the Registan Square also. If you want to buy the postcard, this place is excellent place. You can find the excellent postcard with pictures of old Samarkand. When you finish with this museum and with Madrasa Tillakori, you should go to the third madrasa, which is located in the Registan Square. The name of the third madrasa is Sherdar. Sherdar Madrasa is the second madrasa that was built on the Registan Square. Sherdar Madrasa was also built in 17th century between 1619 and 1636. Sher, translated from Persian, means tiger. On the top of the entrance portal, you can see drawings of two tigers. That is why the madrasa is called Sherdar, which means madrasa with tigers. In 8th century AD, the Arabian Caliphate conquered the Central Asia, and Arabian conquerors brought for us the religion Islam. Between 8th century and 10th century, citizens of Central Asia, they accepted the religion Islam, freely compulsory. After the Sherdar Madrasa, I went to one of the mythical places in the city of Samarkand, to the mausoleum of the Gur-e-Amir, which is located 1.5 kilometers far from Registan Square.
Okay, my dear followers, I have just finished with Registan Square, and now I'm going to walk to the Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum, where Amir Timur and his family members, his sons, grandsons and his descendants was buried. The distance between the Registan Square and Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum is about 1 kilometer. The city Samarkand is very green. Samarkand is located very close to the Zarafshan mountains. Samarkand has very good environment, very fresh air. That is why in the 15th century Amir Timur or Tamerlan chose the Samarkand as a capital city of his empire. Now I am walking back to my hotel Mevlana, where the forecast shows plus 33. I think in this hot weather nobody wants to drink hot coffee. But here, on the way from Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum to the Registan Square, there is a coffee place where it's possible to get ice americano. Cheers!
When you walk from the side of the Registan Square toward the Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum, you can see the mausoleum of Ruh-Abad, which means offend the spirit. A Sufi whose name was Burhanuddin Sakarji was buried in this mausoleum. Thanks to him, the Uyghurs accepted the Islam in 10th century without coercion. The last place that I was going to visit in Samarkand was the Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum, translated as a grave of Emir from Persian language. This place is considered as a very mythical place in Samarkand, and this place keeps the secret of the Timurids empire. Initially, this place was built by Timur for his beloved grandson Muhammad Sultan as a madrasa and as a guest house. But unfortunately, Timur's beloved grandson died in 1403. By the order of Timur, his beloved grandson was buried in the southern part of this complex, and construction of the mausoleum began over the grave of Muhammad Sultan, where Amir Timur himself, his sons, and his grandsons were buried also. Currently, only the entrance portal and mausoleum have been preserved. The real grave of Timur and his descendants is located in basement, which is closed today. Inside the mausoleum, you can see the portrait of the Timur, map of his empire, and model of this complex that was exist here in 15th century. In 1941, on the June 21st, Soviet anthropologists opened the grave of Timur, and next day, on the 22nd of June, the war between USSR and Nazi Germany began. In December of 1942, the Timurids were reburied. After that, the USSR began to win this war. The first victory was in the city of Stalingrad. In 1943, by the order of Stalin, this mausoleum was restored. When you go inside, you can see the several tombstones. The real graves are located under this room. The ceiling is considered untouched and unrestored. The filling is completely covered with gold. 3 kilograms, 600 grams of gold was used in gilding. There was once a golden chandelier in this room that disappeared. Timur's spiritual mentor, his 2 sons, 2 beloved grandsons, and Timur himself were buried in this mausoleum. The mausoleum itself was completed by one of the Timur's favorite grandsons, Mirza Ulugh Beg, whose grave is also located in this mausoleum. Timur's enemies called him Tamerlane, translated from Persian means iron limb. There is a famous street in Samarkand that is close to the Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum. Street name is Boulevard. At the beginning of this street, there is a statue of Amir Timur, straight injustice. This was his motto. You can see a lot of trees on this street. Some of them were planted in the middle of the 19th century, and also in this street you can see the buildings that were built by Russian Empire at the middle of the 19th century. On hot summer days it's very pleasant to walk along this street. When I finished with Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum, it was already midday. I decided to have a lunch at the restaurant Karim Beg. I got to this restaurant by taxi. The Karim Beg restaurant is one of the best restaurants in the city of Samarkand, where mostly locals go. This restaurant was opened in 1996 and still active. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Jahangir and I am the manager of the Karim Beg restaurant. We are always glad to see you in our restaurant. If you are looking for a quiet place where you want to spend your evening close to your friends, in our restaurant there is a hall called Registan that can accommodate more than 300 people and your friends and yourself also. In our restaurant there is a large hall with local music where you can spend your evening with your friends. They are guests of our restaurant and city Samarkand. If you want to celebrate an important event in noisy company with disco music, then you have a chance. We have a hall called Modern. In this restaurant, prices are same for everyone, both locals and foreigners. I always come with tourist group to this restaurant and our travelers give very good reviews about this restaurant. For the lunch I ordered cabbage soup and I took 1 lamb kebab with myself because afternoon I had a train back to the Tashkent. This restaurant has a very rich menu. After hearty lunch, I returned to my hotel by taxi to pick up my clothes where my friend Ikhtiar was waiting for me.
My dear followers of my YouTube channel and Instagram page, my trip to the wonderful Samarkand is gonna finish. Thanks to Hotel Mevlana and thanks to the owner of the Hotel Mevlana, my friend, he is Ikhtiar, his name is Ikhtiar. Thank you for giving me chance to visit the Samarkand. And would you like to say something in French language?
Welcome to Samarkand, or in French, soyez les bienvenus à Samarkand. À bientôt.
Muchas gracias, my dear followers.
If you like this video, please like it and write in comments what you want to see in Uzbekistan and in Central Asia. If you want to come but you not yet chosen a tour, I can help you. Write to me on Instagram. Thank you for your attention. Your guide from Central Asia and Uzbekistan, Alisher Turakulov.